Kamikaze, or Divine Wind, were military aviators who flew suicide attacks for the Empire of Japan against Allied naval vessels in the closing stages of the Pacific Campaign of World War II. They were intended to destroy warships more effectively than with conventional air attacks. Kamikaze aircraft were essentially pilot-guided explosive missiles purpose-built or converted from conventional aircraft. Pilots would attempt to crash their aircraft into enemy ships with bombs, torpedoes, or other explosives. About 3,800 kamikaze pilots died during the war, and more than 7,000 naval personnel were killed by these attacks. About 20% of the kamikaze attacks were successful. The recruitment of soldiers willing to die in the suicide missions was carried out relatively easily. The suicide attack was an accepted method of fighting, and this is largely attributed to Japan's highly militaristic society, as demonstrated by the samurai system with its Bushido code, which established a legacy that honors and idealizes self-sacrifice. However, it is a little-known fact that the Japanese infantry used very similar methods against Allied armor in the last year of the war. The effectiveness of US tanks in operations against the Japanese has led the Japanese army to devise an extraordinary series of hand-carried anti-tank demolitions, specially designed to pierce armor plate or to damage vital tank parts. These weapons were used by the Japanese suicide tank hunters. Perhaps the oddest of these anti-tank charges was the so-called lunge mine. This weapon, basically an armor-piercing charge on the end of a pole, derives its name from the way in which it must be thrust against the side of a tank in order to detonate. The weapon was officially adopted by the Japanese army in 1945. In that year it caused its first victims in the Pacific Theater, where it commonly saw action against American armor. Later that year, some Japanese Imperial Army manuals of the weapon were also discovered by US troops. The weapon itself was a conical hollow charge attached to one end of the weapon, which was a simple wooden stick used to hold the weapon during its transport and use. The Japanese suicide soldier was taught to wield this weapon as he would a rifle. The prescribed method of operation was for the soldier to remove the safety pin as he approaches the tank to be attacked, and to grasp the center of the handle with his left hand and the butt end with his right. Then, holding the stick level with the mine to the front, he lunges forward as in a bayonet attack, thrusting the three legs on the mine base against the side of the tank. The shock of the contact will break the shear wire, and the striker nail will be shoved into the detonator cap, thus exploding the mine as it is held against the armor. At this point, the Japanese soldier's mission ends for all time. The mine was capable of penetrating about 6 inches or 150 millimeters at an angle of 90 degrees, and up to 4 inches or 100 millimeters at an angle of 60 degrees. However, the mine would almost always impact at 90 degrees should an attack be successful, thanks to the fine control of the impact angle afforded by direct manual handling of the weapon. The United States forces met this weapon for the first time in March of 1945 in Leyte Island. It seems that the weapon was not really successful. A US intelligence report stated that, to date, all attempts by the enemy to use the launch mine against our tanks have met with failure. But after the war in Vietnam, it became an icon of the First Indochina War, specifically in the Battle of Hanoi, during which a battalion commander tried to use it. However, the bomb failed to explode. In the end, he was shot and heroically sacrificed like a Japanese soldier. Also in 1945, a Japanese infantry division advocated the use of a similar, although simpler device designed primarily to damage the guns on a tank being attacked by ground troops. The weapon consisted of a heavy demolition charge of explosive blocks to which a short stick has been wired. One end of this stick then was inserted in the hollow end of a bamboo pole, thus forming an easily removable handle. Two heavy wires, bent like fish hooks, were fastened to the other end of the charge. When attacking a tank with this pole charge, presumably from ambush, the Japanese soldier was supposed to pull the cord and ignite the fuse as he approached his target. On reaching the tank, he was supposed to hook the wire hooks of the charge over the tank cannon or machine gun. As he retreated, he pulled the bamboo pole loose from the charge, and the demolition hangs freely in position on the gun until the charge exploded. Two hand-thrown anti-tank demolitions were also known to be developed and experimented by the Japanese army. They were the conical hand mine and the experimental hand-thrown mine. The conical hand mine actually was an anti-tank bomb or hand grenade. This grenade has been found in captured ammunition dumps in the Philippines, although there are no reported attempts that the Japanese tried to use it. It came in two sizes, one weighing 2 pounds and the larger weighing 3 pounds. Like the launch mine, the conical hand mine is a cone-shaped hollow charge designed to direct the force of explosion against armor. The large end of the grenade cone is covered by a ball-shaped wooden base. The whole body of the grenade is encased in a sealed bag sewn to fit tightly around the explosive unit and the wooden base. The fuse, which functions on impact, was located in the narrow end of the bomb and was designed to detonate regardless of the angle at which the grenade strikes the target. To ensure detonation, the grenade was thrown with force. To be safe from the effect of the explosion, the soldier who throws the grenade had to be at least 35 feet from its target.